Hey everyone, so I'm really excited to be doing this video today. I picked up the new Wet n Wild fall collection package, and this included 2 eyeshadow quads or trios actually. Mascara is actually 4 of them, so I'm going to be using this brown one here in the color Unbreakable Bronze. It also included some new liquid lipsticks. There's 4 shades and I'm going to be using this one right here. And lastly, the 2 highlighters. The holy grail, most sought after highlighters, the Mega Glow highlighters that everyone has been raving over. I'm going to test these out on camera today and see how they are. I have swatched these on my hand, have not tried them on my face, and I haven't really tried anything else, so we're gonna do a little first impressions and let you guys know exactly what I think. If you're interested in seeing my first impressions of these products, go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start off with the eyes just because I don't know how the eyeshadows are going to be, if they're gonna have a lot of fallout or whatnot. So I'm gonna use my NYX High Definition Primer. I'm just gonna put this onto my eyelids as a base as normal and smooth it on out. Because I'm going to work, I'm going to be doing a super simple look. This video is mainly just to test the products and see how they are. Now we're going to start off with the eyeshadow, which I'm trying to get open. Now that I got it open, here's the eyeshadow quads right here. Comes with 3 colors, a lighter taupe silvery shade, a darker, I want to say matte shade. If not a matte, this is a satin shade, and then another kind of shimmery greeny brown shade. This actually looks like the color from the Comfort Zone palette that everyone says is a dupe for Max Blue Bound Pigment, but we're going to test that theory. Oh, and it also comes with these 2 little sponge tip applicator type things. Well, one's a brush and one's a sponge tip applicator. I really don't know who uses those, so I'm just gonna toss those aside. Right away when looking at it, I'm drawn to this kind of champagne shade, so I think I'm gonna use that for my lid color today. Now, I know Wet n Wild does a lot of good eyeshadows. I actually have probably like 2 to 3 of their other quads, trios, and like 6-pan shadows. So I'm not going to be expecting these to flop at all. I'm expecting something really, really good. And so far, this shimmery shade seems to be applying pretty nicely. In fact, this shade pretty much looks like a pressed pigment. It has a nice sheen to it, and it's a taupey type of champagne shade. Liking the way this is looking so far, and all I've done is put on a lid shade. Crazy, right? So because I don't have a transition or blending shade in this palette, like a brown, I'm going to hop into my Z palette right here. And I think I'm going to use the shade Cocoa Bear, which is a reddish brown shade right here. And I think I'm going to use that to blend out the edges. For the outer V, I'm going to go back into that trio, and I'm going to use this dark navy brown shade. And it kind of looks like it has a little bit of shimmer, but not like super intense like that lid shade we just applied. So I'm probably gonna go with it being a satin shade. This is gonna be the real test because black and dark shades can sometimes apply patchy. So I'm interested to see how this is gonna perform. And so far, it's looking pretty good. Yep, this is working pretty nicely, and it's easy to blend, and it does not look patchy at all. So I'm liking this as well. So for this shade, I'm gonna say that you don't need a lot of it because I just pretty much dipped my brush in there like once and started applying it to the outer V here. And I'm getting pretty good pigmentation, so I imagine if I was to actually really build it up on the brush, then I would get like crazy, like intense deep navy blue color, which I don't want, at least for right now, because I need something a little bit more subtle. So I'm just gonna use my fluffy blending brush with no additional product and just blend out that blue shade a little bit more. For my brow bone, I'm gonna go into the other palette, and I actually didn't tell you guys the names of these, unfortunately. So the first one that I was using was the Plaid to the Bone. And then this one right here that I'm dipping into right now is the Velour Vixen. So I'm going to use this nice brow bone shade. It's like a off-white kind of creamy beige matte shade, and I'm going to apply this to the brow bone. So this shade is not super intense, but because of my skin tone, that actually works out to be kind of a good thing, because I wouldn't want something super stark. So I'm just applying a light layer of this, and then of course I'm going to go back and blend it out. So this is kind of going to turn into a little bit more of an intense look, because I now want to go in and apply this red shade from the same palette along my lower lash line, because I feel like it would really tie in with this Cocoa Bear shade in my crease. So I'm going to apply a little bit of that, and you know what, maybe I'll just apply it to the outer portion, and this one actually looks like a satin shade as well. Seem to take a little bit more building up, but the payoff is totally there. You just have to layer it up a little bit. Because I don't have a new mascara, I'm going to do my mascara off camera as well as my foundation, and then I'll be back with you guys in like 2 seconds. Okay guys, so I mentioned before that I didn't have a new mascara to try. Totally forgot that I have this one right here, which is the Unbreakable Bronze. So although I did apply a black mascara, I'm just gonna go ahead and top this right over top of it. Giving it a little bit of a bronze tint, but not a lot, just because I've already applied black mascara, unfortunately. However, I will be doing a more full review on all of the products, so we will definitely go ahead and put this to more of a test in that video. But for now, this is what it does look like. Right, so I think I'm gonna skip over to highlights now. So I mentioned I have the 2 highlights. So one is a lighter champagne shade, which is Precious Petals. I think I'm gonna go with the crown of my canopy. Just gonna take a little bit and apply it to the tops of my cheeks. Of course, I'm gonna also apply it to my nose and my Cupid's bow. I say that these look a lot better on the face than they do on the skin. Like when I first swatched them, because I felt like when I swatched them on my hand, when I first got them, I was like kind of underwhelmed. But now that I'm going in and actually putting it on my face, I'm liking the look. I'm liking the look. Okay, so now I'm gonna move into the lip color. So this is actually really exciting. I don't think Wet n Wild has actually had non-transfer matte liquid lips, and in fact the drugstore especially hasn't really had any. They've had some companies come out and say that they're coming out with matte liquid lips, but then when you get it, it's not actually matte. So from what I understand, this one is actually a matte liquid color, and I'm gonna try out the color Don't Be a Plum Plum. So in the tube, this looks like a deepened red shade. I hope it's gonna be more plum, like the name kind of suggests. By the way, the names of these liquid lipsticks are super cute. Here is the doe foot applicator. So this one is a little bit unique. It's quite different from most of the other liquid lipstick applicators I've had. This one here has a dip in the bottom, so I think this is really going to allow you to apply your liquid lipsticks really precisely, and it's going to kind of hug your lips here. See how this color looks. And the first touch of this, I'm thinking this is going to be super pigmented. I've swiped it back and forth a few times. It does not look streaky, so obviously that is a good thing. This shade I wouldn't really say is a plum. For me, this is more of a red. The formula seems to kind of glide onto the lips. It also doesn't feel super heavy at all. The little dip in the wand, it's making it a little bit hard to kind of clean up the edges here. So I'm finding that the lip is a little bit patchy in some areas, but I think it's not super patchy to the point that an extra layer wouldn't help. And it's kind of starting to dry down right now. And it has a quite tacky feeling. So let's see how that's gonna come out in the long run. Alright guys, so here is the final look of how everything turned out. I think I'm actually going to have to probably take off this lip. I was hoping to be able to wear it to work and try it out and see how it wears throughout the day, but this is kind of super vampy for work, so I'm gonna take it off and put a more neutral lip, but I still wanted to come in and show you guys how everything came out together. So for the mascara, I mentioned in the demo that I forgot that I had the colored mascara, and I went in and used my black mascara first, so that was a little bit of a flop. So because I did put the brown mascara, which is, what is it called? I think it's like Beautiful Bronze or something like that. I'm not overly enthused. I do have to say that. In general, I'm not a person that goes for a lot of color or just like colored mascaras. I probably do that on my channel just to kind of change things up and give a little bit more creative looks, but I'm not like thinking this is something that I would run out and go grab some more. However, I am definitely gonna give it another try. Maybe in an upcoming tutorial I'll try this out. The eyeshadows performed very good. They're exactly what I expected, especially from Wet n Wild shadows. I have a lot of the 6-pan trios and all the other eyeshadows that Wet n Wild does, and these ones did not perform any different. They're pretty much the same. Now let's also talk a little bit about the liquid lipsticks. As you can see, I do have it on right now, and I have to say that I really do enjoy this formula. It does go on as a very creamy, moussey type of texture, and this one I found was a little bit patchy. However, what I did to kind of prevent further patchiness is I let it dry down a little bit, and then I kind of went in with the applicator and dabbed it instead of swiped it, because I found that when you swipe it, it kind of takes away more of the product and doesn't really help so much. So I just kind of patted it in, and that helped to kind of build it up. However, it wasn't super streaky, so I wouldn't say like this is a complete flop. The lipstick actually does dry down to a complete matte, which is amazing. Now, the matte look that you're able to achieve with this liquid lipstick is also kiss proof. As you can see, there's no transfer. So I do have to say that this liquid lipstick does take a lot longer to dry down than some of the other liquid lipsticks that I've tried, but I still do like it. As it starts to dry down, it feels a little bit tacky on the lips. Eventually, if you give it a few more minutes to dry down, it does dry down and look exactly like it looks right now on me. So that pretty much completes my first impression video on the new Wet n Wild fall collection. Let me know if you guys have tried any of these items out. I'm super interested to hear your thoughts and what you were able to pick up. Don't forget to thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it, and until next time, we'll see you again. Bye.